And so it's a little more broad and open. And so Hasbro has a history of doing this. And I think this is a good segue back into the OGL changes. So Hasbro also did similar with My Little Pony.
Yeah, they sure did.
Ex-Brony over here.
Shut up. No, you're not.
I watched a lot of them.
All right.
I could sing a few Twilight
Sparkle. We're going to touch back on that in the 15-minute little book at the end. Hey, stick around. Stick around for the end.
I got better. But yeah, no, so basically, My Little Pony took off. Talk about another moment of like a critical role where it just blew up a franchise. As that happened, people started to create fan fictions and stories around the original cast and storylines. As that spread, there were some really good content creators who made stuff that you probably could have just like Control-C, Control-V their video on YouTube and slapped it into a My Little Pony episode, and you would not tell the difference.
There's some Dragon Ball Z creators do that too. Dragon Ball Heroes is a good example of that.
And the interesting thing is, when we're doing stuff like this, and it's not just directly monetized under the brand, again, stick with me on this. When we're doing that, it's kind of a really pure form of like democracy, right? If we like it, it's going to get a fuck ton more traction, which means it better be good. If we don't like it, it's not going to get traction because it's likes and shares and things that are all very much so, in a way, they're our way of voting for something to become seen and popular.
There's a bit of an economy there, yeah.
Absolutely. So now that creator probably never would have worked for Hasbro ever. But they have set themselves apart by showing that they can actually contribute to the brand. I liken this to being in a gym and training, or rather, owning a gym and training. And let's say you're a kickboxing guy and you know your kickboxing stuff. You have a kickboxing gym. You have somebody who just shows up. They're super dedicated all the time. God, the quality of everything they do is fabulous. You could honestly believe that they're a professional fighter. And then one day you see them giving some advice to someone else, and a few people are like, hey, we really like coming back to train with you, What are your two thoughts? Bad and good. My bad thought is, he's a fucking threat to me. Get out of my school. Don't teach anyone. I did not ask you to do that. Out. He goes. The people around him are like, ooh, that was a little shitty. Some might stay. Some may go. But you've tainted your brand a little bit. Alternatively, you approach this person and be like, hey, you're really good. And people respect you. I might have a job for you. And then you try to expand. Hasbro punished all of these creators for My Little Pony and basically got them to the point where they were just like, we're done. We're just shutting everything down, and some freaking amazing content. There's some hilarious stuff out there. Just dropped off the face of the earth. And it was shocking because the whole theme of My Little Pony is like literally working with each other and being collaborative and finding your special place in society, that your thing. And to the community, these creators were doing that. And then they smashed the entire concept up because they were afraid of the brand, other people making money off of their ideas, but it's extrapolated. I had argued that if they actually just went to these people and went, you're actually really good, let's bring you in on the team. Do you have ideas? Because this person was creating episode level content on their own. Something that takes them an entire team. Holy shit, I'd want that person in my back pocket immediately.
Yeah, I want him right now.
It'll make you more money, right? We can just turn into ponies right now.
I want him right now. I would love to have an editor.
Yeah, it's fair. We might be ponified for it, but why not? Whatever.
Have you ever watched Centaur World?
God, yes, I have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of brilliant. It always starts off so light and cheerful, and then by the end of it, I'm questioning existence and reality itself, and I'm just sad. And like kind of mad that I'm sad about it. Yeah.
The twist, though, the plot twist it's twisty. It's good.
Twisty twist that doth twist.
But yeah, so let's define this freaking OGL and the changes that led to all the frustration.
Yeah.
And is trying to assess the confusion that we're talking about here, where a brand wants to say, semi-rightfully so, this is our shit, no touchy. And then the people who are actually with the brand are saying, yeah, but you're the framework for what makes this great system and why we love you.
And it goes beyond the OGL too. Like it goes beyond Dungeons and Dragons, really. Like just Hasbro, who owns Dungeons and Dragons, will reiterate that for this point. But they've kind of got a history, like you mentioned, of just watering down IPs. Like when they got a hold of Power Rangers, I asked a guy I work with, "Hey, Frankie,
Freddie Lightfoot,
what do you think?" I was like, "What do you think, Hasbro?" He goes, "Well, I hate what they did to Power Rangers." I was like, "So you have strong feelings?" He's like, "Yeah, fuck Hasbro." So because he's a Power Rangers fanatics, and so I'm listening to him like talk about how they watered down Power Rangers, and like once they got a hold of it, the shows were just like cartoony almost, like they were just so over the top, not believable. It was not the Power Rangers that he loved and all this. And then there's a whole rigmarole, but there's a whole thing about Beyblades. After Hasbro took a hold of it, it was just garbage. Yeah. And now you find, was it Takaya Tomo? I'm sure I said that wrong. Beyblade. You can find those on eBay for like $50, dude. Like they're not cheap.
Beyblades were legit. First fight I ever got in was over a Beyblade.
I wanted to say something snappy there. I just really want to know more now. Tell me more about how future Hasbro ruined your fourth grade.
Well, it was more that we like created it was the only fad I ever started, and I was in like sixth grade, but I watched Beyblade and was like, I have to get one of these. So I got one and brought it to school and was like, check this shit out. It's so cool. And then they like fight each other. It was like that was like a Monday. It was like Wednesday. There were like 50 of us that had Beyblades. And like 5 or 6 of us could actually had the cool parents who would get the little arenas. So they'd bring them. And we had this like sunken area in the school that was all concrete. So it just became a Beyblade arena. And we were all playing and having fun. And there was just one piece of shit bully who was just like that sixth grader that sprouted like 8 feet tall all of a sudden. So
sounds like a Frankie.
Yeah, it was a Frankie. Dude ran by and like literally snatched one of my Beyblades that I really liked and ran and was just gonna fucking steal it. And he was faster than me, but I was just dogged and I just followed him until the point he dropped his guard, yeeted up this fucking tall man's back, and just started like until he dropped the Beyblade and then was like ran off with it. That got everything banned. That got everything banned. Beyblades became like black market shit after that. Like literal kids being like, I got the good shit. Fully metal.
Say more. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, and that's how everyone would react too. Everyone would do that thing, like, act casual, and you're like, that's really nice.
Meet me under the slide at recess.
Yeah. I'll get the money.
God, this is 2 days of lunch money. I hope you know.
Right? In this economy. Yes, the OGL.
So the OGL has actually spawned a sort. Hold on. Did you finish your point about the OGL? Man, I got really hard up on that on the Beyblade thing.
What was the question?
Well, no, we were just explaining the difference between the OGL, the original.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was just like
one was open, one is not.
Let me figure out if he's got any other things to go over. So it did, however, the changes to the OGL encouraged their competitors to actually grow the industry, not even the market, like they were expanding the industry. And one of them actually, Peso, came out with the ORC, that
sounds familiar.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty clever, actually. Let's see. Yeah. The original game license is, I believe, what's it called. And I just want to be correct on this. But so yeah, they came out with the ORC and the Open RPG Creative License. That's why that's why the Open RPG Creative License, the ORC license, that's from Peso. And it has one massive benefit in that it is irrevocable. It is in like the first clause right there, stanza 1. We cannot take this away from you. And then it goes on to essentially just be another version of the original OGL that gave all of the community and the fans that loved it the freedom and access to do with it essentially what they please.
So basically, that's a super smart move in the sense of the OGL, as it originally was, the OOGL, basically allowed this freedom that allowed D&D to passively dominate the market, like a giant sleeping dragon sleeping on his hoard, to put that in context with the right theme here. But by my logic, you say encourage competition. It absolutely did, but not in the sense that I'm sure some CEO would phrase it as, we're merely encouraging competition and expanding the market. Like, yes. No, the dragon tried to go steal more gold and accidentally met like a well-armed army and had to back off and lost a bunch of its hoard.
Do we think Ku Cox might have had this in mind for the industry? Because unless he's really banking on new entries into the D&D scope who didn't have previous experience with the previous OGL, so maybe he's just planning on waiting the former community out because the new people won't have any former context of what it was like to be able to use this stuff for free. So then you're setting up a bit of a long-term payment model for a short period. It's loss leading almost. Sure, it's $1.4 billion loss leading, but
okay. I would believe that theory if I thought he was actually smart and strategic in any regard.